How do you think we should embed the localization model into the revenue model? That's probably easier said than done, but
Yeah.
I'd love your take on this one.
So I've actually, it's funny because I've been working on looking at the cost of poor quality in a number of ways. So I mean, people obviously look towards something as basic as subscriber count or whatever that is. So if you're looking at churn rate, right? You launch in a country, a bunch of people sign up, nothing's localized properly, so they churn and they leave. The an ad supported model, it is that time spent watching content. So if they're not engaged with your platform, you're not selling ads. But then beyond everything, I think that's like the obvious market connection of users doing X. But on the other side, you have what's the internal cost of poor quality? How much time is it taking your teams to manage agencies and go back and forth and say, no, this doesn't work. We got to send it back. Now you're beyond turnaround time and go to market time. Now things are running late. So there's both there's a market cost, and then there is an absolute internal team cost that I think people don't factor in a lot of the time.
It just sort of like since I started in the industry like 25 years ago almost, it just baffles me to think about, a project, let's say whatever project, in your case, maybe a media piece that costs whoever is launching, the company who's launching this, Netflix, etc., say $1 million on an average per piece, or maybe two, I don't know. And then when it comes to localization bill, it's let's say $10,000. And they agonize over $10,000 spend on a $2 million project. I just don't get that. I just don't understand. And the communication piece is so sensitive. Like if you dress it up in a language, if you dress up your project in a language that your audience is going to understand,
Yep.
it would make a huge difference in the brand, in the project that you're embarking on or you're trying to launch in those markets.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% agree. We're totally on the same page. And I've had those moments in my career where, you raise an eyebrow a little bit. We're really fortunate to work with the clients that we do, in that they understand how much this is central to connecting globally. The local piece of that is just essential. And, you see that in, like, take for Stranger Things. I mean, you see the global success of that, not only from the raw numbers, but you look at these like subsets of cultural moments where, I'm forgetting her name, the Kate Bush, her song "Running Up That Hill." After that was on, it charted in. I mean, of course, it charted in the U.S., Canada, but in countries like Argentina, Brazil, Austria. And so there is a cultural connection to content. And for us, we always go back to what's the first moment that you have in discovering content? It is that little rectangle on the screen. And if that user in that country feels compelled to click on it, it could make or break that global success of that IP.